Hi, I am Chelsea Cole, and I am excited to welcome you to the Cookbook Lab Chronicles, episode 3. This is where I am taking you behind the scenes of my cookbook writing process. Okay, so if you follow me on Instagram, you saw that yesterday I let everyone know that I am officially a full-time food blogger, which means I no longer have a day job. And this is something you all ask me about a ton when it comes to writing your cookbook. So I thought it'd be really good for us to talk about today. Okay, so why did I choose now for my quit time? So it was a lot of reasons. A lot of things kind of came together all at the same time. But one of the biggest of which is that I'm making a lot of traction with page views on my blog, and I feel good about the revenue that I'm bringing in from that, and that can actually support us. Quitting my job has always been, of course, like something I aspire to, right? Like I think it's a dream for all of us food bloggers to food blog full time. However, it never felt like something I would actually be doing because I am super risk averse. I didn't love the idea of not having a day job because I wasn't sure how much I could rely on food blogging and my other streams of income. That felt very scary to me. But one thing that I've really tried to do over the last couple years is diversify my side hustle revenue streams. So there are actually a few things that I do outside of food blogging even that help me feel like I've got a consistent source of other income. But within food blogging, I make money from, I break this all down in the Instagram post if you're curious, but I make money from blog ads. I make money from a little bit of freelance. I make money from the products that I sell. So I have a cookbook, working on another cookbook, soon revamped version of the Cookbook Lab. And recently I created something called Sous Vide School, which is an online, it's kind of like a digital course. I still don't really know how to describe it, that teaches people how to sous vide, also affiliate marketing, brand partnerships. So I have all these different ways that I make money that made me feel a little bit better about the whole thing. Because the idea of relying on something as unstable as blog ads, is a little scary. It's definitely within food blogging my biggest generation of ad revenue, but I still know if I need to fall back on something else that I can. So let's talk about what that means in relation to creating book 2. This is going to sound really annoying to some people, but in some ways, not having a day job is almost trickier because it's not like now I can devote all of my time to writing my cookbook. Now I actually, especially because this transition is so new, I have to be working really hard and really consistently to make sure that those other streams of income exist. So, like I tell all of you, it's fine for you to take a break from your blog. And for me right now, since that is my job, that isn't the case. And one way in which this can get a little bit tricky is there's so much less delineation from my day job, my main source of income, and the cookbook writing process. And so it's going to be a different task, a different way of prioritizing. So one way in which this is great and that a day job doesn't quite let you have is flexibility. So if this means that I am working, 2 super long days on my cookbook during the week, I might have to put a little bit more time in on the weekends on my blog or freelance clients or things like that. But I am able to do that. So that is one big benefit of this change. However, I will say I am working now more than ever because it's very important to me to have these revenue streams feel stable. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm excited to share with you all how this goes. And so if this is your first time watching, I haven't actually started writing my cookbook yet. I know the topic, I've started brainstorming the recipes, but I'm kind of taking you behind the scenes as I get ready to write cookbook 2. Another thing I think is timely and important to address is cookbooks are not big money makers. Like now my cookbook sales are very, very little because my cookbook came out, over 2 years ago. And the big time for a cookbook is right when it comes out and right around that time, unless it's some kind of classic like The Joy of Cooking. And even during that big initial launch time, it's not going to be a massive money maker for you. In fact, I would say for most people, money should not be the reason you write a cookbook. I wrote a cookbook and I'm writing another one because of the brand building it gives me. It gives me so much more authority in my space. It gives my readers another way to connect with me and another way for me to help them. in the kitchen, but it is most valuable as a brand builder. That is the primary reason why I'm writing another book. In fact, this is a small thing, so don't put too much stock in this, but Google looks at your, it's called EAT. I'm trying to remember what that stands for, but it has to do with your authority in a space. So you are more likely to get ranked higher if there are things that give you authority. So authority can be things like your job. It can be things like where you've been published. It can be things like if you've written a cookbook. So it can even be helpful in helping you build your blog page views. So you might be wondering, Chelsea, when are you writing this cookbook? When are you going to actually get started? And so I'm going to give you a little bit of an update. Right now, I am just kind of trying to get a handle on what it means to be a full-time food blogger and kind of get in a groove with my work. And I'm kind of finishing up on some projects. So I'm getting that kind of like all squared away. And then the other big focus before I really start in earnest writing Cookbook 2 is getting the new self-guided Cookbook Lab ready to go for all of you. So we're totally revamping the Cookbook Lab. In case you're unfamiliar, the Cookbook Lab is a course that I created with my friend Carly, who helped me design my cookbook, in order to help food bloggers or chefs or whoever else self-publish their own cookbooks. So we're revamping all of those materials and hoping to have that done for you. The original date was going to be mid-February. I think it's going to probably be another week. I'm working on some other things I'm really excited about to go in there, as someone like me does. So it's taking a little bit longer than anticipated, but we're really excited to have that done for you. And then once that is done, dive in headfirst in the Cookbook 2. So in case you missed it, episode 1 was all about how to blog and write your cookbook all at the same time. And in the last episode, we covered what I'll be doing differently this time around, and I answered some of your questions about the cookbook writing process. If you have any questions about what I talked about today, about the Cookbook Lab, what we talked about last time, stuff you want me to answer in the next episode, drop them below in the comments and I'll get them answered. And if you feel like you might be ready to write your own cookbook, you can get started. Go to the link in my profile, link below, depending on where this is published, and grab my guide to help you determine your cookbook topic.